living sober, busy living sober, busy living sober. It's episode 420. Oh my gosh, you guys are catching me. I have a cold. And I've had a cold since Saturday. And oh my gosh, I did. So many people reached out to me. They're like, "Are you going to take a COVID test? Are you going to take a COVID test?" And I'm like, "I don't think so. I think this is just a cold." But then, of course, pressure, societal pressure, friends pressure. I decided to take the test and I am negative. I am happy to report to everybody out there that there is such thing as a spring cold. I'm in Florida so it is definitely spring and I'm like, "Oh my gosh." It could be allergies or whatever it is, but I definitely have a cold and I did show up though for my interview yesterday with John Delony. Very interesting and interesting podcast. I'm very excited for you guys all to hear it. And it will be out tomorrow morning at 6 at next, it'll be out Monday morning at 6 a.m. So if you want it to come directly into your inbox, go to elizabethchance.com and sign up. And the prompt comes right up. And there's also a link in my description that it takes you right to where you need to sign up. And you can do that as well if you want it to come right into your inbox. So you are one of the first people to listen. It's very interesting. We have a lot of things in common, a lot of things not in common, but a lot of things in common, which I found to be pretty interesting. And I'm gonna be real honest, it's funny because I thought, which I think a lot of us do, is that we compare ourselves big time to other people. And I was like, oh my gosh, he has almost 1 million followers on Instagram. He is in the top percentage of podcasters globally. And I was really nervous and I was like, oh my God, this is really scary. I ended up putting on a tutu, if you noticed, on my Instagram and Facebook pages. I put on a tutu because I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. Um, and I put that out there and because I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so excited. I'm so nervous. This guy, you put these people on pedestals. Like, oh my god, he's better than me because he has so many more followers than me. He has two PhDs. He's better than me. So I have to be really nervous." And the reality is he's another human being just like us, right? We're all human beings having a human experience and we're all waking up in the morning and putting one pant leg on at a time. And that is the real truth. What I also found interesting from the podcast was that he went into this not thinking it was going to get off where it did and how him being the best one, he had no intentions of that. And it's just funny how he's just been him and he just answers questions with the knowledge that he has for so many years working actually with people and crisis situations. And he, with that knowledge, he's now has this show and people call in and it's pretty cool. And I just want to say kudos to him and thanks again for coming on the show. It was awesome. And but it's really funny that whole comparing, and we all do it. And I think it's making us sicker, not healthier. And I shouldn't do it, and I did it, and I'm like, why am I comparing myself to this person? I don't know him, I don't have dinner with him, he's not my friend. He's just a guy I had on my show. And but I want to bring you guys cool people that have a little bit different perspective than I do, and that are a little more famous and or big time, way more famous than I am. I'm not famous at all, really, in my own right. I mean, there are some people who follow me, which I thank you all that are following me, and I hope you'll share it with others. But I haven't gotten there yet, and yet's the operative word. Hopefully, to get there one day, sooner than later. I pray. But so I want to talk about also, I have friends that have reached out to me. I'm gonna tell you a true story. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna tell you why I've been thinking about this. And two people, this has happened in literally the past since Friday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I record this on Tuesday, so it's Tuesday. So last Friday I went and last Thursday I signed up for an art class and I did a 3-day art class and I met the cutest person and she is an amazing, she's younger than me, younger woman, and she's an amazing artist. And, she took me aside because I'm so transparent about who I am. I'm like, oh, I'm Elizabeth Chance. They had an introduction and I said, I'm Elizabeth Chance. I'm a podcast host. I'm in long term recovery. I don't even know why. I throw it out there all the time, but I do. Like, I'm Elizabeth Chance. I'm sober, just so you know. I'm a podcaster, just so you know. And I always throw that out there. And because of that, people then come up to me and start talking to me about things that are going on in their personal lives. So it started on Thursday. By Friday, this person she comes up to me and she's like, "Can I talk to you?" And I said, "Sure." And she's like, she proceeded to tell me that she has been dealing with a family member, her spouse, that is drinking too much. And it's been happening for a really long time. And she doesn't know what to do because she's been complaining so much to her friends that her friends don't want to hear it anymore. Her family doesn't want to hear it anymore. And we all get that, right? We all get to this place where we feel so safe and comfortable with the people around us that we definitely dump everything on them. And then we expect for them to keep listening if we don't do any action, and people get frustrated. I get it. And people are like, I can't do this anymore. I can't listen to what you're doing. I can't listen to how you're dealing with this person in your life. I can't listen to it anymore. I've told you what I think you should do and you're not doing it. So I don't want to talk to you anymore. But it's hard for the person that's in the situation because she then feels lost and like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And it was interesting because I took her aside and I said, I said, do you know what the definition of insanity is? And she looked at me and she said, no, I know the word. And I said, well, the definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over and over and over again. We do the same things over and over and over and over again and expect different results. So when we get in these states where we're just like we have so much going on, and we might be telling a story to everyone about an ex-spouse, an ex-partner, an ex-sister-in-law, and a present family member that you constantly complain about to other people, and you go and you complain 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 and you complain, and you don't do anything to change it. And then nobody wants to hear you anymore. And you're like, this stinks. Why? Why aren't they giving me the advice I want? Why aren't they standing by me forever and listening to me and just being a sounding board? It's because humans get a little tired and we get a little judgmental and we get a little exhausted and we get a little like, what can I do? Can I shake you and make you get out of this situation? And the answer is no. And some people like to stay in the same pattern for their whole lives, right? It's like through eternity. They're like, I can't get off this merry-go-round. I can't get off of it. I'm gonna be in this insanity until the day I die. Just because it's comfortable to me. I know that my person is going to get drunk. I know I'm gonna hate them. I know they're gonna make my kids feel uncomfortable. I know all these things, but I can't change it because it's too hard. And I don't mean hard, like, I always say carrying the pails of water up the mountain. I mean, it's hard to say, all right, I'm going to get into action. I'm not going to get into thinking because that's what we do. The complaining and the not doing anything is like, that's just like, it's just the problem, right? We all talk about problems all the time. Problem. I have this problem. I have that problem. Everything's too expensive. I don't have enough time in the day. Oh my God, I don't have enough food today. I need to lose weight. I need to exercise more. I'm not doing this right. I'm not doing that right. And we beat ourselves up, punch ourselves. And we drink too much. I'm drinking too much. My spouse is drinking too much. My kids are drinking too much. I can't do anything about it. Oh my God, it's exhausting me. But it's adrenaline, right? That's all adrenaline. It's all anxiety. I mean, it's kind of fun. He's like building a non-anxious life. John Delony talked about yesterday, and it's like we all have these anxious lives. I have to be totally honest. I read his book and I was like, oh my, I loved it. And I underlined so many things, but I was really anxious during the book. I didn't tell him that yesterday, but I was like, oh my gosh, I'm judging myself. Am I like this? Oh my God, I am. Oh my gosh, I'm like this. Oh my gosh, I'm like that. I'm even watching. this show about love amongst people that are on the spectrum. And I'm like, am I on the spectrum? Like, do people do this? I think we all do, but it's like so funny. We jump into these things constantly of like, oh my gosh, is this happening to me? But there's no solution in this, right? That's what I'm trying to get at. My friend, my new friend, who has this husband that won't stop drinking, and she's known that he was a drinker since before she married him. And she knew that that was the demise of his first marriage. And she was like, I've known this. And how did I get in this? And it's like we get into it because we get into it. We fall in love. We can't pick who we're going to fall in love with and who we're not going to fall in love with. But she fell in love with somebody that was like this. And I really believe in the bottom of my heart, and I don't know if you're going to agree with this or not agree with this, but water seeks water. So I'm putting, and if you're not watching it on YouTube, and if you do watch it on YouTube, please subscribe to my show. Please, please, please. But water, and I have my hands at equal level. Water seeks water. We seek people that are exactly in the same place we are. When I met my ex-husband and married him, we were both coming from a situation that was not great. Our home lives weren't that really great. I mean, on the outside, you might have judged it as really nice, but on the inside, it wasn't great. And so we came to each other in the same kind of way, and we played house, and it was amazing, amazing, amazing. I mean, I don't regret any of that. Um, but we come together, and when we come together with somebody, at that time, we're in the same place. We see things the same way. We are like we just meld together, like, and it's amazing. It's amazing love in the beginning, but then as time wears on, that stuff that makes it warm and fuzzy and all the yummy stuff, it all disappears. And we see these real things and we're like, oh my gosh. And we're not feeling great about ourselves. And we want to put it all on this one glaring thing, which is, of course, with the other person. And with her, it's with his drinking. And she's like, this is it. And but she can't get out of it. She can't get out of it. She's like, I can't get out of it. I mean, my whole thing was like, you need to get into action. What are you doing? Did you get an apartment? Go get an apartment. And nothing has to be final, right? In this situation, it just needs, I need a break. I need to breathe. I need to regroup. I need to figure out where I'm going next. It's really important that we take time, that we're not so irrational. So if he is a big drinker and he doesn't want to get better, is her life better when she goes out for a month or two or three and she lives on her own? Is she longing for him? Is she longing for the relationship that she had with him? But she has to know, and I told her this, she has to know that she has to take him the way he is today, not the way he was when she said, I do. But we all have to take the people where they are. I mean, is everything exactly the way I thought it was going to be when I married my husband 6+ years ago? No, it is not. It is not anything I thought it was, but I'm in it. And I made a commitment. So I'm in it. I'm not until death do us part. I mean, unless he kills someone or cheats on me or does something really, I'm in it. And with this person, I think it's the same thing. It's like, how do I walk away from this? She's already had one marriage. This is her second marriage. And how does she tell society I'm walking away? I'm starting a new life. She feels shame. She feels all these feelings, which are so natural. And it's so easy for me to walk into a situation and identify, oh, this is what you need to do, right? It's so easy for somebody else to come in and say, all right, go do this, this, and this. It's like, that's really great advice. I'm going to go think about it. And we might know intuitively that what the advice that was given to you is important to do and you should do it. But you sit back and you ponder it and you're like, I'm not ready to go get this apartment thing. I'm not ready for this break. I kind of like the drama. I kind of like the fact that I live in this house and it's really nice and it's really comfortable and I've lived here for a long time and I don't want to leave here. And why does that person get to stay and I have to go? What do you do? What do you do? Do you just sit back and just say, I'm just staying in this? And there's a lot of people who do. There's a lot of people that never, ever, ever take the step that everybody advises them to do. There's a lot of people who don't. And there's a lot of friends out there that have walked away from other friends because they aren't doing what they want them or they think they should do. And that's all okay. The big thing is being okay with you. Like, you can go and complain about it forever, but it's like getting to that truth place. Like, it's getting to the truth. Like, my truth yesterday and recognizing this was like, my truth was, you know what? John Delony's, he's famous. I'm not. Okay, that's the truth. That's the truth. He's got way more followers than me. That's the truth. A lot of people like him better than me. That could be a truth. Yeah, that could be a truth. That's okay. Your truth might be my husband's an alcoholic and he drinks and he scares people in my family and I don't really like it and I don't really want to be around him. But you know what? The alternative doesn't sound good either. I don't want to leave my house. I don't want to uproot everything. I don't want to change. I don't want to go make a whole new life. I'm 50 years old. I'm in my back nine. I don't want to change. I want to stay like this. Okay. Own it. Own it. I think own it. Own it. Because the only person that can get into action in your life, in your personal life, is you. Nobody else. You can listen to podcasts, you can go and read books, you can do self-help up to you know what. But until you're willing to do something different on your own and take that step, nothing's going to change, right? Nothing's going to change. I need to change. It's really crazy. I've been I want to redo the colors on the podcast. I want to do all these different things. I want to have 1 million followers. I want to be at a level where I'm making income. I want to do all these things. And I need to figure out what my map looks like. And I don't know that right now. And this is my truth to you guys. This is not, I I've struggled with relationships in my family for my whole entire life. I That weighs me down at times. I have a lot of trauma from what that's my own personal stuff that I have to deal with. And all these things that I have going on inside of me and it's not looking the way I want it to look is sometimes hard, right? It's not easy. It's not easy being honest with yourself and looking at things and going, I need to change this up. I need to change that up. I need to walk away from this relationship. I need to put down the drink. I need to not have the same kind of relationship with my kids now that they're in their 20s than I did when they were babies. I need to have a different relationship with my kids each time they're growing up. John Delaney brought that up yesterday. How we need to change, you know, and I judge myself because I didn't find this out until now, today, 2024. My kids are raised and gone. They've been raised and gone for 5, 6 years now. And I long for this time that I wish I could have changed things, but I can't, right? I can't go back and wish things were different. I can't go back and wish, oh, did I really look into everything I needed to look into before I got married either time? No, I didn't. So do I beat myself up about it or do I do something and just go to acceptance and just say, you know what, this is accepting where I am. It's going to give me peace. Is it really that bad having to have a drunk spouse? I don't know. That's up to you. Is it really that bad waking up in the morning going, "Oh my god, I did it again?" Is that enough for you to change? It was for me. Now is it enough for you? I don't know. Another friend reached out to me. I told you I had 2 people. And this other friend reached out to me and she said, "I have a friend who is recently or I guess been divorced for I don't know, maybe 5 years and she's living with her mom and she's drinking outrageously." And she's like, I want her to watch your podcast. I want her to hear what you're doing. And she doesn't want to listen. She doesn't want to listen. And I don't know why. And she gets mad at me. Why does she get mad at me? Why does she not want to why doesn't she not see what I see? Why does she not see that she needs help? And I'm trying to tell her where she can get help and she doesn't want to get it. Because the disease of alcoholism, I'm sorry to say, is a very, very, very terrible, horrible disease. It kills more people than anything else in the world. Okay. It just does. Okay. Alcoholism at the end of the day is the biggest killer. It's the biggest marriage wrecker. It's so dark. It's so gross. It's so bad on so many levels. But people promoted on every football game. Like, okay, we got to. Oh, by the way, I've been thinking about this. I'm throwing this in here, you guys. Sorry, doing a little. What about Taylor Swift? Not Taylor Swift, but her boyfriend. Oh my God. My dear friend came over and she's like, "Did you see Travis Kelsey at that parade?" And I was like, "No, I didn't." Because again, I'm trying to take care of myself with all these comparing that I've been doing lately, that I have to really self-preserve, and I'm sick, so it makes it even worse. So I've been looking on social media, but she's like, "Look at this." So there's Travis Kelsey at celebrating their big win in the Super Bowl, and he is so drunk he can't even stand up. That's how he sounded like to me. And the only reason I say that is because I used to sound like that. I have a dear friend in Philadelphia, and I'm not going to call her name out. She knows who she is if she's listening. And she used to say to me, "You scare me because you go to that place. It's meh, 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 meh." You couldn't understand one word I said. I was like, and it wasn't making any sense in a blackout. She said that to me. Now, I didn't quit right when she said that to me, by the way, you guys. It took me probably another 6 months to a year to quit after she said that to me. But you think about it. Like, we identify the fact that booze is killing all these people. We have people standing up on television that are supposed to be our role models. I'm air quoting that, by the way. But again, subscribe to my channel on YouTube. I can't believe how many things at times I'm saying this. But anyway, how many times do we sit here and say it's okay for that person to get drunk, and that person, and the housewives who promote getting drunk all the time, and all these people that are promoting getting drunk? And why is that? Let's see. Because alcohol and drug companies want to make money, and you getting drunk helps them make money. Let's just face it. You staying in these relationships, enabling, not enabling, helps them stay in business. You're giving them money. So you're sitting here, and I just wanted to equate something. Did you hear what I just said? So I was a blackout drinker. I could not speak when I got drunk. I would go in and out of this thing. Just like Travis Kelsey. I was not a professional, not millions of people were watching me. I was not on a parade for winning a Super Bowl, but I was doing it in my community with my friends and my family. I was walking around and I was stumbling drunk. And I had a friend who actually I'm still friends with to this day, who had the courage to come up to me and say, "You have a drinking problem." And did you hear me say I didn't quit right away. It wasn't for another 6 to 12 months later did I quit. I'm terrible with timing, by the way. I own that about myself. But when it was time for me to realize my truth, which was I am an alcoholic, no matter how I like to cut it, it is I drink too much. It wasn't until I said, "I want help and I want to change. I don't want to do this anymore. This is a boring, I'm living insanity. I'm living every day doing the same thing over and over and over again." And as scary as it was, because it was so scary, you'd think I would have been scared having blackouts, not remembering things, waking up in the morning going, "Where's my car?" Having failed marriages, all these things that transpired because of alcohol. And you'd think that that would have been a wake up call for me to go, "I'm going to get help right away," but it didn't. It took me time. But when it did, and I got there, and I got to that place where like my friend is, and my other friend, like watching her friend, like all these people that are battling this out there, because there's so many of us that are out there that are in whatever stages of alcoholism. I'm in the sober part, thank you God, in the recovery part. But when I was in the dark side of the drinking part still, and it was time to make that, like, literally the precipice of going, "All right, we are gonna do a 180." I guess I probably did 180. I didn't do a 360 because I had to turn, and I was turning slowly. I was pivoting, and I was like, "All right, I'm willing." The first time I said, "I am an alcoholic," I knew I was an alcoholic and I wanted to quit. And I went and I told people I want to quit. Hadn't really done that before. And I went to somebody I knew that was in long-term recovery, and I said, "What do I do?" And he steered me in a direct he said, "Go follow this path." And I did. And I listened, and I went, and I wanted it. And I just said, "You know what? That life that I was living, I don't want it anymore. I don't want to keep complaining and drinking too much and telling people I'm drinking too much, or people telling me I'm drinking too much, and people saying, do this and change this." And I said, "I want to do this. I want to do this because I want a better life. I don't want to wake up anymore saying the same thing all the time. Like, why did I do it again? Or who did I hurt? Or, oh my gosh, I just scared somebody with my drinking." And I wanted that sobriety way more than I wanted to keep going the way I've been going. And it just and I don't know what like what transcended it. As I say all the time, like I didn't have any I didn't have the police after me. I didn't have sirens chasing me. I hadn't lost my home or my car, any of those things, but all I had lost was me. And I was like, I'm done. I just got to stop. So hard. And I've stayed stopped, and it isn't easy all the time. It isn't. No. I mean, last night I was up all night just thinking about things and thinking about things. And you know what I did? I ended up writing in my journal, and I did finally fall asleep about 12:30, but I went to bed at 9:30, and I didn't really go to sleep till 12:30. But I struggle with that, like, internal insanity. Like, when am I going to be done doing whatever it is I'm doing? And if I'm gonna do this podcast and be honest about it, like right now, I only have a certain number of followers. And the followers I have, I love so much. I love what I do. I love this. I love talking to people and telling people about my experience, because you know what? I don't feel like I'm any different than anybody else. I feel like I'm just like everybody else. I'm not any stronger. I just had the conviction that I knew I didn't want to live like I was living anymore. And I had seen people that were sober in my life that were happy. My siblings had been sober and they were happy. These people around my sister were happy and they didn't drink. And I was like, I want to be like them. I have already been with the people that like to get really drunk and fall down. I've already done that. I've done that for years. I don't want to do it anymore. I want to do something different because I'm not happy and I don't feel content inside of me. And we all have to get there. And it might happen today. It might happen next week. It might take 12 months. It might take 12 years. I don't know. It might take 12 seconds. But knowing and being able to look in the mirror and be honest with yourself is where the biggest gifts come from. Just the biggest. It's like, oh my gosh, the best gifts come from me being honest and me being able to say, it's okay that this is the way it's going. It is okay. Is it perfect? No. Is anything perfect? No. The only person that's perfect is God. We're on a journey together. And if you're on this journey and you're in whatever state of whatever it is you're going through that you don't like, and you've been complaining to, or you've been pondering over and over and over again, one day you will wake up and say, I'm done with the insanity. I'm done. I'm out. I'm raising my hands. I am calling done. I am saying I'm doing something different. I'm going to pick up the phone. I'm going to go do something that I never thought I would do before, and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to change this. And that might be going and renting an Airbnb. That might be calling a rehab facility. That might be calling a therapist. That might be calling your best friend. That might be reaching out to me at elizabethchance.com, ELIZABETH at elizabethchance.com, spelled the exact same way. The most important thing is just having hope. While we're still alive, we can always have hope and we can always have joy if we are alive. And if we take the time to just sometimes turn it all off. I'm going to tell you that. Turn everything off. Turn off the phone. Turn off all the social media apps. Take a time out and really figure out where you want your roadmap to go next. What you would like ideally for it to look like. Think about it. What do you need to do to get there? And don't think that it's not going to be hard because it's going to be hard. Change is hard. It just is. It's hard. But knowing that it's not as hard as having to go in the bush and kill your food for your children. That's really hard. Or going to find clean water for your children. That would be really hard if you were living someplace with all contaminated water. So that would be hard. This is difficult. It's uncomfortable. But I have to be really honest, from all the uncomfortableness that I've gone through in my life, at the other side of that uncomfortable is peace. And it's reality, and it's knowing who I am at the end of it. It's knowing who I am after I've walked through all this pain. And that's okay. It's okay. All right, there we go. That's a half an hour, you guys. I'm not going to talk any longer because, as I mentioned, I'm not feeling really great. I'm going to go do something for myself right now, maybe take a nap. But I just want you to know you're not alone. You've got this. You can do this. I promise you. All you need to do is one day at a time, 1 minute at a time, 1 second at a time. Just take it 1 second at a time. Be nice to yourself. Be nice to yourself. It's all okay. It's all going to work out. But just keep walking. Sending big hugs. Lots of love. Please subscribe to my channel again. There, I did it the last time. Go subscribe to me on YouTube. Go subscribe to my newsletter. And until next time, everybody, keep getting busy, living sober.